In 1996, Capcom released a game called Resident Evil that took the world by storm. It was the start of a franchise, and I never played it. It was set in 1998, even though it was released in 96. 2 years later, in 98, Capcom released Resident Evil 2, and I didn't play it. While I was busy playing The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time and Banjo-Kazooie, the cool kids were playing these games. And I remember seeing the commercials for this, and I wasn't that impressed. It looked like a game where you just stand still and shoot. So I didn't really feel like I was missing out on anything at the time. Boy, was I wrong.
I was in 4th grade at the time. The average interaction at my school on the playground was, "Hey, have you played Final Fantasy VII? No. Hey, have you played Metal Gear Solid? No. Hey, have you played Resident Evil 2? No, I have an N64. So I didn't get to play any of those at the time."
Many years later, in 2005, I was in high school, and I saw a commercial for a game called Resident Evil 4. And my mind was blown. I had to play this game. So, chance had it, my cousin had the game, and he let me borrow it for a while. After playing that, I knew that I had to buy that game, so I bought it for myself. This was my entry point into not only Resident Evil, but survival horror as a whole. And what an entry point it was. This game was incredible. I later found out that Capcom had also released Resident Evil Remake, Resident Evil 0, and Resident Evil 2 and 3 on GameCube. So I knew, with my newfound love for this game, that I had to go back and play those. Of course, acquiring them was difficult because you had to buy used copies from GameStop, and they were expensive. So with my job at the movie theater, I bought Resident Evil 2 for over $50 used, which was a slap in the face. But let me tell you, it was worth it. Playing these games in 2005 was a bit surreal. They obviously looked dated compared to Resident Evil 4, and even though the remake and Zero had good graphics, the gameplay was so vastly different. But there was something about it I enjoyed, and it was definitely scarier. The horror element with the actual zombies, the T-virus. I was obsessed. I had discovered my favorite game series. And Resident Evil 2 was the highlight for me. It had such an amazing story, really honestly great gameplay. It had 4 separate story modes in total, with Leon and Claire's A and B scenarios, and I was hooked. The last game for the GameCube I bought was Code Veronica X because I didn't know about it initially. I liked that game also, but still none of them could top Resident Evil 2 for me. Then, after many years of rumors, at E3 2018 during the PlayStation Showcase, it happened. They unveiled a Resident Evil 2 remake, something that I had been wishing for a long time. My favorite entry in my favorite video game series would be modernized, and boy did the trailer look impressive. My wife was pregnant at the time, and my son would be born right around the time the game was due to release. So I had 2 things that I was just beyond excited for.
And wouldn't you know it, it was worth the wait. This game was absolutely incredible. This is literally the way you remake a video game. You take everything that the first game did, and you do it better. Not to mention make it look and sound better.
A lot of people think that a remake can't absolutely replace the original. Well, in this case, it came close. Gone was the cheesy voice acting from the original. The graphics were obviously improved. It was now more ambient, spooky, and gory than ever. It felt like this was the way that the developers originally wanted it to appear. Obviously, they couldn't do that because of the technical limitations of the time. This is why I think remakes are such a good thing. In my opinion, a lot of games were just designed better back then. They had better ideas because they hadn't been done before, and they weren't afraid of online backlash from gamers because that internet was really new. You didn't really have that at the time. So we got to see their creative force completely raw and unfiltered. I'm not saying the new games nowadays aren't good, because a lot of them are. They just feel different. It's probably just because they don't have the nostalgia factor going for them, but when this came out, I imagine more and more people want to see their favorite games remade. I mean, just look at it. Because of Resident Evil 2, horror games are one of my favorite genres, definitely in my top 3. And this remake reignited my love for horror games. It made them spooky again. And more than that, it made zombies scary again. Zombies were so oversaturated for a long time. They had been overdone, but the way that they modeled the zombies, the way they did the gore effects in the game, it was absolutely stunning. Playing this remake, I felt that addictive horror again, the thing that Capcom recently mentioned in their Resident Evil 9 showcase. Addictive horror. An urge to continue playing something that's scary, even though you know it's scary, because it's so good that you want to see what happens next, and you get addicted to that feeling of being terrified. It only works because of how cleverly they wrote it. You want to continue to find out more about the virus, about the zombies, about the town. Even the conspiracies going behind the scenes with Ben Bartolucci and Brian Irons, and of course, who can forget Ada Wong. I don't want to get into spoilers too much for people that somehow haven't played this game still. They also made Mr. X absolutely horrifying as well. A character that was in the original Resident Evil 2, but was never that much of a scare. Now he stalks you everywhere you go, and you can't ever actually kill him, so you'd be wasting your ammo shooting at him. It adds another layer of stress that is just so interesting. I can't really put my finger on why it works, but man, it does. Okay, I guess to close this up, I just want to reiterate again that if you haven't played this, you absolutely should. If horror games are something you're not into, rethink that. I mean, there's a lot of fun to be had here. Maybe it's just because I think differently than everybody else. But I love the feeling that this game gives me. The darkness, the somber emotion, the joy when you finally make it through. It's an emotional journey that I think everybody should take. And in the remake, I mean, it basically has the quality of a Hollywood movie, so why would you not want to experience it? Just do me a favor and give it a shot. You can get it for really cheap now, especially on a Steam sale. It's absolutely chock full with value. You do get both scenarios for Leon and Claire again, as well as all the unlockable content, the fourth survivor, the tofu survivor, and now with some free DLC, you can play as some other characters in the game in like what-if scenarios that I found very interesting as well, including one with a certain gun shop owner that was also seen heavily in the Resident Evil 3 remake. And let me just say, his story is absolutely soul-crushing. I give this game a perfect score, and it will forever be in my top 3 favorite games, right at number 2. What's my favorite game, you ask? Hit that subscribe button, and stay tuned to find out, because someday I will do a video on it. Resident Evil may be my favorite game series, but my all-time favorite game is not part of this series. Alright, if you made it to the end of this video, thanks for watching, I really appreciate it. Hit that like button if you like what you saw. Let me know what you thought in the comments, and tune in next time to the Gamer Spectrum.